Hello. Hopefully you guys can hear me. So it's Tuesday. I tried to record yesterday. It was rainy and gloomy and my mic died. So here we are again. I put on the same fit. So hey. So make sure like nothing in the back is incriminating me. But hi you guys. Welcome back. So it's so pretty outside. Like it's been really like rainy and gloomy, and maybe I just have seasonal depression because genuinely I was just like, ugh. But sometimes I really like when it's rainy and gloomy because I'm like, oh my god, like what does it give? Like I don't know what it gives, but it just gives like cottage core. Does that make sense? Like I don't know. I really feel like it gives cottage core, and then I'll see like the rain on the window, and I pretend I'm literally in a cottage in the middle of the forest trying to buy animals, and there's a fire lit up inside, and that's the only thing keeping me warm. Whatever. Okay, so I have dance class in almost I want to say like in 50 minutes, but I'm walking, so I have to hurry this up low key. But I'm probably gonna talk over time anyway because that's normally what I do. Okay, hold on. Let me get comfortable. This is very odd. Sorry. Okay, so I think I'm gonna because I had already started talking yesterday, but I might just input that clip of what I was talking about. The Metro lady I saw yesterday. I'll just input that. But okay, so the next topic that I wanted to talk about was hugging at schools, and I feel like I need a different pair of pants. Hold on. This is better. These are just more like movable. Like I can actually crisscross applesauce. Okay, so hugging at schools. So I saw TikTok and the guy basically was like, why do we hug so much at HBCUs? Like, and the thing is, I didn't even finish watching the TikTok. I just read the thing and I was like, literally, and I didn't go to HBCU, but I just want to know why we hug so much. So basically, it was okay. I feel like it's just a bit excessive. And I'm trying to like give like recount or recounts of when I felt like, what are we doing? Like I'm literally like, why are we hugging? Why are we hugging? Why are we hugging? And I feel like it was only with men because I'd be like, I don't really like because like normally like girls, I feel like also I just talk to girls more, so I'm more inclined to hug you because I'm like, okay, we've had conversations. Hey, like, oh my god, I miss you so much. Hey, I'm hugging three random men that I said maybe two words to a week ago. Like I don't. I'm just like, what's the I'm like, is this like procedure? Like, is this proper procedure? What are we hugging for? Like, did I miss a memo? Genuinely, what are we hugging for? And I'm trying to think back to like high school if we ever and it's like because we saw each other every day, there's no reason to hug, right? And in college, it's like you could see someone one day and then not see them again until like maybe next week or 4 days from then. But does all of that really require a hug? I like I don't know. And I feel like at a certain extent, I don't know if I don't think I was uncomfortable. I think I was just taken off guard because I would be like, oh, like, because I'd be like, hi. And then someone's arm is literally reaching over my shoulder. And I'm like, oh, hey, like, I don't know. And to this day, I still don't know because I'm like, why are we hugging? Why are we hugging? And then this wasn't even part of it, but like, I'm gonna just bring this up because I really don't like it. Like, why are we hugging in the car? Why are we hugging in the car? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know. And I think this is a specifically like yeah, this is I think specifically with men. Like with my girlfriends, I feel like we're gonna hug in the car, but we're also gonna hop outside and hug outside the car. Like I don't know how to explain it. And normally like let's say if one of my friends were like picking me up from my house, like back in my hometown, like they would get out the car and we would hug. And this is where I feel like women are just so top tier because like, why are you still inside the car and then now we're hugging, but like your car is this big? Like I don't know. That's never made sense because it's like me, and this is maybe because like I'm a taller gal and I'm 5'8", but like that's above average height, and so it's like if I'm in a tiny car, and so like my limbs are also like you know they go out there. Hugging in the car just doesn't make sense to me. I can't even get my arm from under the I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Cuz I'm thinking of like instances where I've done that or where I've been forced to do that, not forced, but like they were like reaching for it and I was like, "Oh, like," and I'm just like, "Why did we do that? Why didn't we just get out the car?" I feel like that's what I expect. I'm like, we should get out the car and hug because in the car really makes no sense. And now like my side is hurting because I'm like jumping over the console. I don't know. I don't know. Like it maybe it's just me, but yeah. Anyways, so yeah, back to hugging at schools. I get it. But then I really don't. And I feel like it kind of perpetuates the whole idea of like in college, like everyone should really just family because like we're all in this enclosed space. Even though college is like a bigger world, it's still not the real world because we're all still in this enclosed space where we see a lot of the same people because we're in a lot of the same clubs or we do a lot of the same activities or we may have the same major. And so to me, it's giving, hey, cousin, hey, like that's what it's giving. And nothing's wrong with that. I think it just really caught me off guard because I was like, and then also I'm like me going to college the previous year was 2021. So like my senior year was 2020 to 2021. That's COVID, right? I did not go to school. I had fully online school my whole senior year. So like think about this as a person who really hasn't had much contact with people outside of her family, like physical contact with people outside of her family. Now we're like we're hugging, we're hey like straight like I'm really like like it was a lot, but I think I'm used to it now. Maybe no, no, I don't know. Okay. Oh my god, that is the biggest. Ew. Oh my god, y'all. The biggest literal wasp or bee is trying to enter my apartment. That is huge, and he's just going. Ew. Sorry. I'm like very disgusted because like why my window? Uh-uh. Cuz if this thing comes in here I actually have to call maintenance. Like I can't. Fly away please. And then okay, see when I think that I'm like, well, a bug could low key fly in here when I'm not here cuz it's like if I'm working 9 to 5, that's a lot of time for a bug to really get in here. So I should really trust my windows. But it's just when you see it up close and like IG live, I'm like somehow it's going to dig its way through the window and come in here. Mm-mm. And that, oh. Anyways, the next topic was I've recently been thinking about like so I've always wanted to like live abroad for a certain amount of time. I don't know if I would like ever like move abroad, like start a family abroad, like any of that stuff, but I definitely have wanted to live abroad before and or I definitely do want to live abroad. And I think most of the times where I thought about it it was like somewhere in Europe because I hadn't been to Europe before. But now that I've been to Europe, I'm like, okay, I've been to Spain twice. I went to Barcelona, Madrid, and then I went to Lisbon. And those are like also places I've considered living abroad in Europe simply because of the accessibility to a whole bunch of other countries, and I really love that. And it's by train. Like you could just you in Germany. And I thought that was cool. But last year I started reading. I started reading this Nigerian author. Her name is Chimamanda Ngozi, and after reading her books, I was like, wait, why wouldn't I just move to Nigeria? Like, so I'm half Nigerian, half Liberian. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I was like, why wouldn't I just do that? And so that became more of a goal of mine. I was like, I would love to do that. And like live in the village my mom's from or live in Lagos. Cause okay, so like also the job I have, like the company has offices overseas. And so I was like, oh, maybe I could um work overseas. And I feel like it makes like the dream even more possible because it's like, okay, I could like that's like a possibility. Um But yeah, so after like I read three of her books. The first one was Americana, which is really good. It's like 500 pages. It's really good. And this was my first time reading a Nigerian author, I think. Yeah, it's my first time reading a Nigerian author, and it felt like my first time reading like when I first read a black author, and like being able to relate to someone's story and just understand like their way of writing. Like it was just so like eye opening, and it's really like it just feels like acceptance in a way. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I grew up reading, most of the books I read were like white books. I read a lot of John Green, and then before that I did some of the like Divergent Convergent books. I read like Dork Diaries and Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I know Dork Diaries, um she's a black girl, I know that now, but like back then she was a white girl with curly hair. Like back then, like I literally was like, I don't know, but okay. But reading one of the first black books that I remember reading that like I felt something was The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, I believe. And I also had like a huge Tupac phase. I don't know if that book put me in my Tupac phase or it like helped to ignite the Tupac phase. I don't know. But literally it like I don't know, like once you really like relate to a book, it'll just flip a switch in you and that's all you can read. And so then I started reading. I would like go to like bookstores and specifically search for black authors. I cannot tell you the last time I read a book by a non-black person, like genuinely. And so like reading this and or reading these books, and it's just like you just feel seen. And so like that's why like when they say representation is important, it's important. Like it's so important. And so now coming and reading something that's more close to like my cultural identity or my ethnicity was even more of like wow, like wow, wow, wow. She writes, I think herself, I think she's Igbo, but and then in the book she writes a lot about like the Igbo tribe. Like her characters are Igbo. I'm not Igbo, but it's still relatable. So I love that. Um wait, what was I talking about? Moving in okay, yeah. But I read Americana, then I read Purple Hibiscus, I think it's called. And then I read Half of a Yellow Sun. So I think Purple Hibiscus is the one that kind of made me like low key I could like go back for real. Like I could go back. And I think the last time I was in Nigeria I was like 4. So it would definitely be some like there would be a whole lot of adjusting. I remember the last time I went to Africa in general, I went to Liberia because my dad is Liberian, and I was 10. And you know you have to like shower with the bucket. I'm like, okay, if I still gotta do that, I could probably do that. But like it really like it's not just like one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm gonna pack up and go. Even though like that's what I'm thinking in my head, it's like there are things I have to get adjusted to, and I definitely wouldn't mind doing it. Like I don't know, I feel like for me, I'm I'm one of those people where I just be like, you know what, F it, like let's try it. Like even when it comes to traveling places too, but I think it's different when it's something that's like a part of you. And so reading those books kind of made me want to get to know like my tribe a bit better, I guess, or my family or like my tradition even more like from the source, like not just learning about it from my family but from the community in general and being in that environment, because I feel like immersion is honestly like one of the best ways to learn something. And yeah, like those books just really inspired me to like want to do that. But then I try to think like logistically and realistically, and I'm like, okay, well, when would I do it? And I really don't know. I've even thought about like East Africa, Kenya, thought about Ghana too, because Ghana had that whole like bring what do they call it, like come back home. Come what was it, I don't know if it was like a movement or something, or not was, but like is, but like they were telling like black Americans to like come back home, like move to Ghana. So I think Ghana would also be a cool place to live. And I feel like I would want to go for 6 months to a year, preferably 6 months, because I think I get homesick. Um, I think in college I got a lot more homesick just because that environment wasn't necessarily like the best for me. But since being up here, I don't really get homesick that much. Like even when I went back to Florida to visit my parents, now granted, I think part of this is because like I had to share with my brother, so it's like I don't even have my own space when I'm there. But I was like, oh, I can't wait to like go back to my own space. So it's like love them though, like love them down, and um, that's a whole different topic. But I think that if I'm in like a good environment and I enjoy what I'm doing and I'm like appreciative of what that setting or location has to offer, then I think I'm good. I think homesickness always will always be like a thing at the end of the day. So I'm like, I wouldn't want to let that stop me. And at the end of the day, a year is gonna go by, 6 months will go by. So like why not do it, like why not spend 6 months or a year doing something completely insane? Like just completely like out of the ordinary, like just hop on a plane and go, you know? So yeah, I've been thinking about that. um I'm not sure if I wrote this down in terms of like discussion or just like to tell everyone, the three people who listen, what I want to do. um but yeah, I saw a girl on TikTok. That's too far. I saw a girl on TikTok. I want to say last week, and she'd moved. I think she's Eritrean. I'm not sure. She's from Eritrea. I think that's how you say it. So she's Eritrean, but she moved. She went to Yale. I think. Yeah, she went to Yale, and then she moved back to Africa. She moved to Nairobi, Kenya, and I was like, wait, because like this is when I was like, oh wait, there's also like East Africa. I can move to East Africa too. Like the main point in me wanting to move to somewhere in West Africa was because like that's closer to my roots, right? But obviously wouldn't mind learning about other African countries. I love that. Like I just yeah, love that. So yeah, that kind of sparked that topic. That's why I wrote it down. Okay. And the next one was from TikTok as well. And the caption or like the title of the TikTok, it was like all it or what is it? It was like, can you believe all it takes is one interview to change your life? And I was like, low key, like you ate that because it really does. And well, for me, it wasn't one. It was like 20 different rounds of interviews, but it does. And it's so crazy because sometimes I'll sit and I'll think and I'm like, dang, like if that hadn't happened, then this wouldn't have happened, and I wouldn't be here, and X, Y, and Z. Like, who knows where I would be for real? And I really credit a lot of like me, like I guess to the place where I am now. Like, so when I was a sophomore, yes, I was in this club organization. It was called Big Sister Little Sister, and I was a little because I was a sophomore. So my big, she had two littles, and me and the other like were friends. So she had sent us a TikTok of this girl interning at the company I work at now, and she was interning in New York. And at this point, I think it was sophomore year, and I love travel, but I hadn't been anywhere since I was 16, and that was when I went to DC for a student leadership conference, and I spent 9 days um, in DC. And our like the topic of ours or like the course for our student leadership conference was journalism, broadcast journalism, and all like the different types of journalism. And I stayed at American University, and it was honestly such a great time, and like it feels like a fever dream now. And coming back to DC and seeing all the places that I visited when I was 16 that I didn't even know, like I didn't even know the names, I didn't really know where I was. I was just living for real and looking back, and I remember I like maybe like a month ago I had went to the Hirshhorn Museum, and when I stepped inside, it was like deja vu. And I literally was, or is that the right? I don't think it's deja vu. Wait, no, it's not deja vu. I think it was nostalgia or whatever. It was like something I had seen in my memory before. And I'm like, where have I, like, I've been here before. Like, where have I seen this before? Whatever. And I thought back to a memory of me and the three girls that I had hung out with during those 9 days. One of them was my roommate, and then the other one, she was from the same state as me. But we had like been to we'd been to that museum, and we were sitting there next to the windows, just like because we were tired because they had dropped us off to walk around all of the museums on the mall, and we had sat down there, and it was like when I walked in last month and I had saw the windows and I saw the like tables and stuff, I was like, oh my god, like we were right there. what, like 6 years ago. And it's so crazy for me to be back in like, I don't know. It was just, it was so insane. But wait, what was I talking about? What was I talking about? See, this is why I don't get off topic. What am I talking about? Okay, yeah. So, anyways, reeling it back into me not traveling anywhere. So, I hadn't traveled anywhere since I'd been to DC in 2019. However, like later that year of my sophomore year in December, I went to Minnesota to visit family. But I was thinking, I was like, dang, like I really want like an internship out of state. Like I was like, I need an internship when I was low key freaking out. And when I started to freak out, I started to grind. Like I was like, no, 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 no. Like I have to do this because I in my head I was like, I need an internship to graduate. And it's like you either need an internship or to take a class as an internship credit. I ended up doing both. I'm not going to talk about it, but so in my head, I'm like, wait, like Loki, I should do this because one, they're paying enough money for me to be able to afford a place to live. But I ended up using I think I had like a scholarship, not a scholarship, was it a fund? It was like a COVID fund our school had gave out, and I had just been saving it because I wanted to study abroad. But I ended up using that to book my place to live. I stayed at GW during my internship, and I what yeah, I stayed there. And I remember when I was filling out the internship papers, I was like, okay, I put DC as my top choice. And I think I did like maybe California, maybe New York. I had never been to California, I'd never been to New York. But today, been to both, period. Um, but I was like, I've been to DC before. Like, let's see what's up. And like my last memories of DC from 2019 were really, really fun. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. So then, y'all, this internship process, what time was it? Okay. I low key gotta stop like talking. This internship process was so fierce. It was so intense. The actual things that I wanted to apply for, because I was a sophomore, they had like a sophomore program and it was that summer. And I was like, oh my God, I could be outside like this summer. Like, let me lock in. But I was not approaching the interviews the right way. And I was like, well, I'm a good interviewer. Like, I don't really have to study. I don't really have to prepare material. And that's a lie. You need to prepare material. You need to study the company. You need to know at least what the company does, what you're getting into. Because in my head, I'm just like, well, I'm cool. I know the STAR method. I got it. And I did have all those points down. But when it came to like actual, like, let's say company things or like the field what my company was for, I'd be like, and I didn't know. And so I think I interviewed 3 times for like 3 separate roles within the sophomore program. And I would get to the final round of interviews and then just wouldn't hear back, right? And I know why now. So then I locked in. I studied, I prepared materials. I'd went to it was like a Zoom that they were holding to like inform undergrads about like their program and what they do. And so I took notes, I studied, and then when I interviewed for the internship, which was the following year, I was able to like relay that information back and get them to understand that I understood. I understood what was going on. Then like 7 days later, I got that call and I was doing summer classes at my school and I was in my dorm. And I remember I came back to my phone and I saw the call and I saw like where it was from. And I was like, wait. And I had missed the call. So I called, y'all, I know the hiring director, manager, whatever. I know she was like, girl, calm down. Like, we gonna get to you. I literally called her back like I think twice and I left a voicemail. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I missed your call. Like and so then I get a call back like I think 10 minutes later. She was like, hey, I think you called me. Girl, you know I was ringing your line. Like, you know I was on your line. Like, come on. And I was like, yeah, I'm so sorry. Like, I think I had either been in the shower or something. But she was like, yeah, so I like she said like I don't know, like filler stuff. And then she was like, we'd like to offer you the role for it. And I was laying on my bed and I was kicking my feet. I was laying on my bed kicking my, cause it's like once you've been through it, like and to actually see, I guess, the fruits of your labor in a way, because genuinely I had been like I was like, oh my God, what if I get this? Like what if I get this? Like I could do this and I could do that. And because also the pay was good. And I had never seen that amount of money in my life. I literally was like, how much? And so even when she was telling me, it still didn't feel real. And I remember I was on the phone and she was like, "We like to offer you X, Y, and Z." And I was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." Like, she was like, "Yeah." No, I'm just kidding. She was like laughing. She was like, "Of course, of course." And then she was telling me that I was gonna be in DC. She gave me how much I was making per hour, and I'd be working 40 hours and X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. And I was so hyped. And I texted my friends at the time. I texted my parents. I was like, "You guys, we did it." We did it. And I remember when I came back to Florida, my dad took me out to dinner. He took our whole family out to dinner because my sister had graduated high school. I had got that internship, and then my brother, my brother did something. Y'all, he was like 8. It's something with soccer. Who knows? But yeah. And so then, like I was saying, like it didn't feel real. And I remember when I started getting like all the information for it, going into training, y'all. Last summer, like when I say like internships are low key like very anxiety inducing because you're fighting for a job. Like now that I have the job, I feel more secure. But like last summer was really like bring your baddest bitch out. It was really giving that, and I'm like, and like when I think about like how I was so like drained and exhausted last year, and I was like, bro, like, how do people do 9 to 5s? Like, y'all don't take naps. Like, what is this? And like the past few months for me, I've been like, I haven't been like extremely tired at work. I remember I used to be like really tired because I'm still on like a college schedule. I used to be really tired. I would wake up mad early for no reason. And I live farther away now. But it was all just like I was like, no, I need them to understand. Like like I'm putting this work in. And also I have a better understanding of the company now when you're an intern and you're doing like your case, like your projects or case whatever, and you're trying to showcase something but also learning the material at the same time, and then you have to learn it well enough to be able to present it and for it to make sense. It's a lot. But um I completed the internship, got my return offer. And I remember a certain part, I was like, "Ooh, I'm not." I'm like, I wasn't sure if I was going to get it. I feel like the first half of the summer, I was like, "Okay, I might be in the running." But then the second half, I was like, "Wait, wait a minute." Got the return offer, and then like I had saved up. I had saved a good portion of each paycheck because I wanted to study abroad. Remember that. The money that I had originally been saving to study abroad, I used that to pay for my housing. So I had paid that money back to myself, and then in addition, I had more, and then I was able to study abroad. I was able to buy my flights, and then I like the little extra money that I had. Remember, I went to DC with one of my best friends who came up here for Howard Homeco, and then I traveled somewhere else. I also went back to my hometown for FAMU homecoming. I was doing a lot. I was doing a lot because I was like senior year, like turn up. Um, and then I went to Puerto Rico with my sister uh this past March for spring break. But yeah, and then being able to like have a job and like have my own apartment, I love this apartment. Like when I have to leave this apartment, I would be so sad. But I was like, dang, like one interview or just like one person kind of like not stepping into your life, but just like being a part of your life and it's really just sending me a TikTok. Like I really think about it because I'm like, would I have found my way here? Like I know I would have found my way somewhere, but I'm like, would it be this? Like I don't know. But I definitely think it's just such a crazy thing. I think life is crazy. Yeah. Um and the next one. Wait, my thing is at 14% and I low key have to leave. What does that say? 27. Ooh. Mm-mm. Okay. The last one is thoughts on having guy friends. So I feel like I'm not going to be able to get as deep into this as I want to. And I might have to take this into next week. But so okay, so I was on Bumble BFF and like normally it's like a lot of girls on there. So like I was telling one of my coworkers, I was like, oh, I don't really know if I want to like end up like meeting up with the guy because I'm like men are scary, you know what I mean? And so long story short, like I had matched with a guy on there and we were talking, it was cool. Then I was like, ooh, like in my back of my head, I'm like, no, like no. So then I stopped talking. And then also like I didn't have my notifications on for Bumble. So like after a while I just forget about it for Bumble BFF, sorry. And then 2 weeks later I was like, you know what? I don't want to like block my own blessings by being like afraid. And I'm also like adopting this mentality of like try like say yes to everything within reason. Okay. But solely because I'm in a new place and I'm like, what do I have to lose within reason? Okay. So went back, we were talking. I was like, hey, can I get your number so that like I can actually get reminded to text? Because I'm like, this Bumblebee if I'm not working. So then we started talking, da da da. And then we were supposed to like FaceTime, but it just like never lined up for our schedules. And then literally last Thursday, I was like, whatever happened to him? So I go back to our messages. I'm like, oh, I was the last person to say something. So I was like, okay, well, I tried. Like, I tried. And then the next day he texted me, he was like, hey, are you busy or are you free? One of those, like, are you free? Are you busy like today or tomorrow, whatever. So I was like, um, no, because I had planned to chill. Because also like my cycle started and I was having like cramps and I was like, I really don't want to go outside. But depending on how I felt, I was like, okay, cool. Like, why not? Like, say yes, say yes. So we end up hanging out on Saturday, and it was actually really cool. And the thing is, sometimes I'll think and I'll be like I said, I was like, oh, I don't want to block my message because what if like it ends up being fun? And I was like, dang, like we could have hung out a month ago because I had a really good time, and he said he had a good time too. Like it was like really cool vibes, and I'm like, we could have done this a month ago and been cool a month ago, but like we were both just like tossing off to the side, da da da. And I think that's where it comes into that like friendships do require work, um, and time, and the willingness to put in the work and time, you know. Um, but yeah, we hung out, and I just love like as y'all can see, I love talking, and so sometimes I'm like, Adara, like reel it in, like don't, because I'll try not to cut the person off, and I also try not to like just like yap because I'm like, ooh, I'm losing them. Like I was like, ooh. So in my head, I'm like, Adara, shut up. But no, like we saw a movie, and then we ended up going to a bar afterwards. I don't really go to bars because I'm like, I don't like alcohol, and then that's all that it's just alcohol and then like random weird men. So I was like, but then there was one like 1 minute away from the movie there, so we sat, and we probably talked for like an hour, hour and a half. But yeah, it was cool, and I was like, and I was on TikTok the other day, and people, and she, I don't know who she is. I don't know who she is either. But on my For You page, a girl was talking about how like no one really wants to be friends. Like y'all just want people to like go out to parties with and stuff. And I like thought back to like the moment of us like just sitting in the bar and talking. I'm like, I really feel like not like that's what friendship is, but I feel like that's like the more meaningful parts of friendship. Um, because I feel like even with my friends that I've known since I was 11, every time we hang out, like I'm learning something new about them because we just have to talk. And it's like so much happens because we're not seeing each other every day like we used to when we were kids, that there's so much to catch up on, and I'm seeing them grow like right in front of my eyes. Like they're my children. And they're seeing me grow right in front of their eyes. And so it kind of felt like one like that. Except like this is a whole new person, so I'm like learning about them. But it just like it felt like I had known him like before. Like it like you know how sometimes when you like meet a new person, but it feels like y'all have known each other forever. Like that's what it felt like. And I thought back to my other friend that I had made, who's also from Florida, and it's like that's how I felt like hanging out with her for the first time, and even like the second time and the third time, and I really enjoyed it. And I was like, I really want to like cultivate those friendships because I really feel like that could be something. So, oh, we were supposed to be talking about having guy friends. Okay, none of that was like gender specific, I guess, but like, um, I guess to make it gender specific. I had seen a TikTok and the girl was talking about how like she'd never had any guy friends and she's like 30 something. And people in the comments were like, well, some people feel like guys and girls can't be friends. I don't agree, because of my own personal life experiences. But other people were like, they were talking about like why having guy friends is beneficial. Cause I feel like sometimes I'm just like, well, why would a man be there? Like, I got the girls. Like that's not really all you need. But I'm like, I think guy friends can definitely be beneficial, especially like as we live in a patriarchy. You need one of them on your side. You literally need one of them on your side. And I feel like it's helpful for just life experiences in general because they can give you, if they're really good friends, they can give you honest feedback and advice of how to navigate maybe like workspaces, um, just certain environments where women aren't necessarily like seen as like top dog, or women, or like a male dominated field. There we go. So, okay, low key, I have to go, you guys, because I was supposed to go to dance class and I have to walk there. And I hate to cut myself short, but I really do have to go. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Um, Next week, I'm going to continue where I left off. I'm going to try to. But all right, have a beautiful week. God bless.